Ever wonder why some communities thrive while others struggle with endless problems? The secret might surprise you. In community governance, it's not always brilliant decisions that lead to success. It's avoiding the obvious mistakes that sink other associations. Many boards face challenges when someone believes they know better than everyone else. How do you spot this person? They've likely been on the board for years, perhaps owning multiple units and viewing the community as their baby. They constantly remind everyone how they saved the community in the past. They're a walking encyclopedia of community history, never train their replacements, and have no plans to step down. They volunteer for everything, shrug, and run for re-election year after year. Watch how they operate in meetings. When other board members speak up, this person jumps on their throat, burying them with supportive knowledge and history, essentially trying to shut them down and push them back into their shell. They have the loudest voice in the room, making everyone else feel small and stupid if they don't fall in line. During debates, they push aggressively to make others adopt their viewpoint. If outvoted, they sulk visibly and may never truly support the decision. They always insist on leading, never following. If the vote is going to be unanimous, they'll position themselves as the one who guided everyone into this obvious conclusion. But when they disagree, they refuse to join the consensus, remaining the stubborn holdout. This dynamic creates a governance structure where even reasonable board members get backed into corners and the entire community suffers. But here's what experienced board members understand. Community governance isn't about reinventing the wheel or yielding the loudest voice. It's about learning from the collective wisdom of those who have faced challenges before and ensuring all board members have equal input. Quality advisors, whether they're experienced management professionals, industry consultants, or seasoned board members from other communities, have likely seen your exact situation play out dozens of times across different associations. When a board allows one opinionated member to dominate decisions or dismisses expert advice because someone thinks they know better, you're not being innovative. You're gambling with your community's well-being. The most effective boards don't start from scratch. They build on proven strategies. But how exactly do you create a culture where everyone's voice matters and the best ideas rise to the top? Start by actively facilitating each other's opinions. When a quieter board member speaks up, support them with follow-up questions. That's an interesting perspective, Joan. Could you tell us more about what led you to that conclusion? Open-ended questions create space for different viewpoints and signal that every board member's input is valuable. Your relationship with your management company is equally critical. If you have a management company but don't trust their advice, or worse, try to lead them rather than be guided by their expertise, you're essentially paying for a service you're not using. That's not just wasteful, it's dangerous. Ask yourself honestly, do we listen to our management professionals? If the answer is no, it's time for a change. The only reason to stay with a management company you don't trust is fear. Perhaps fear of admitting you made a mistake in selecting them, or fear of the unknown. But clinging to a dysfunctional relationship out of pride is just as toxic as ignoring advice altogether. Remember, none of us are born knowing exactly how to govern a community. Only the truly naive believe they can function at a high level without learning on the expertise of others. Whether it's through industry conferences, consulting specialists, or having a strong partnership with your management company, the wisdom you need already exists. Your job is simply to find it and apply it. Consistently good communities rarely come from revolutionary ideas. They emerge from a steady commitment to fundamentals. Think of it as community governance hygiene, the daily practices that keep everything running smoothly. Financial transparency forms the bedrock of trust in any community. When residents understand where their money goes and why, they're more likely to support necessary assessments and projects. The best boards communicate clearly about finances without drowning residents in unnecessary details. Communication itself is perhaps the most underrated skill in community governance. The boards that excel don't just talk at their residents, they create dialogues. They explain the why behind decisions, acknowledge concerns, and respond promptly. Even when delivering bad news, transparent communication builds goodwill that pays dividends during challenging times. Established processes matter too. When enforcement is consistent and decision-making follows clear protocols, residents know what to expect. This predictability creates stability even when board membership changes. Looking ahead is equally crucial. Communities that plan for major expenses years in advance avoid the special assessments that breed resentment. They maintain realistic reserves and update their reserve studies regularly, treating their community's financial future with the same care they would their own. Throughout all of this, successful boards cultivate relationships with service providers who offer honest guidance, not just vendors who say what the board wants to hear. These fundamentals might not make for exciting meeting minutes, but they're the difference between a community that thrives and one that merely survives. So what's your next step? At your next board meeting, look around the table. If you can identify that long-serving member who believes they're indispensable, who talks about their community rather than our community, you might have found your risk factor. Consider implementing structured discussion protocols that ensure everyone gets a voice. Remember that both sides of the equation matter. Boards need to listen to quality advice, and management companies need to provide it. And if you're not getting the quality of advice you need, don't hesitate to seek out better resources. Not all management companies are created equal, and sometimes the best guidance comes from industry consultants, peer communities, or board training programs. Remember, you don't need to be brilliant to be effective. You just need to be smart enough to avoid being reckless and courageous enough to prevent any single voice from hijacking your community's future. With balanced leadership and quality guidance, your community can achieve that steady success that residents truly value. If you found this perspective valuable, we invite you to connect with us. Facebook viewers, like our page and follow us for regular updates. Feel free to message us directly with your questions or community challenges. Instagram viewers, hit follow and feel free to DM us with your questions or community challenges. YouTube viewers, subscribe to our channel and check out the video description for helpful links. Visit our website to discover our thought leadership content, books, and resources that can transform your community management approach. Whether you're dealing with the challenges we discussed today or other community issues, we're here to help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.